Do not lose yourself to anybody in any relationship for whatever reason. This is something that I didn't learn how to articulate until recently, but it's regarding the moral of the story in which I learned about this friend of mine that I had and his parents getting a divorce, and just seeing what they had to go through and seeing the events that transpired from the divorce initially, and just the awkwardness within the family unit and how people were treated at special occasions and just everything like that. But first, before I get into the story, I also want to just say a special shout out to anybody that is being modest, being sexually disciplined, and being committed to a purpose greater than themselves. This is what keeps the world going around. This is what keeps the world moving. If we're not moving in this world, what are we doing? So, with that being said, the story of this friend of mine that I had, who I'm no longer in contact with, he and his family were seemingly a fairly well-off family. They had they were, middle class and making ends meet just fine. They were hard workers. They were very diligent in everything that they did. They seemed to have most everything relatively easy come to them. And it was interesting to be around that kind of group of people, because I mean, where I grew up, that just wasn't really the case. Things didn't just come really naturally a lot of the time. So being around these people and just seeing what they were about was very interesting. And I learned a lot from these experiences. But the thing in particular that I found most intriguing was how the man was treated comparatively to the woman, the mother and the father, in the relationship dynamic between their friends, between the community, and then between the justice system, all and everything in between, especially even just the family as well. Now, I've seen other avenues and other situations like this in divorces where and how men and women are treated in divorces. But one thing that I was very interested in, particularly in this case, was just how the man ended up losing the house, losing custody of the children. Well, the one child that was under 18 at the time, and lost custody of the pets and basically their farmland that they had, and just any kind of land that they had in general, really. And the man was left with a single apartment with a 2-bedroom. It was basically a 2-bedroom apartment, and he ended up just staying there. And it was just the impact in the friend group. The man was completely just cut off. Just cut off. Now, I'm not sure entirely if that's the way he actually wanted it. It didn't seem like it. I know I talked to him about it and asked him how he felt about, just not being a part of the friend group really anymore in the community. And he seemed like he missed it genuinely. But he was basically just left out of the friend group then. And then in the community, it was just not a good look. And he didn't really have that sense of community anymore. And then in the judicial system, I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, this guy lost everything that he could have, like he built. And to me that was a wake-up call to just how complex the marriage system is today, and how really that no matter what kind of relationship that you're in at this time, but in a marriage now in the United States, no one is the head of the household. Women may think that they're the head of the household in like controlling relationships, and men may think that they're the head of the household in conservative relationships and in the nuclear family hierarchy, but that's just simply not true. The government is the head of the household at this point, which is one of the reasons why I will not get married in today's day and age. And I know that may be kind of confusing, seeing that I am considering myself a follower of Christ, and why would I not get married if if I say or claim that I'm a follower of Christ? Well, I've prayed a lot about it, to be quite frank, and I've really started to understand a lot of the 10 commandments that were there and that have been put forth in the Bible. And I would consider myself to be a scrutinizer of words. I've mentioned this in the past, and this is true to this day. In the Bible, it talks a lot about, well, at least in the commandments, it says not to fornicate, right? And I'm still an advocate of not fornicating. However, it does not say anything about soulmates, right? In the Bible, it does not say anything about. It says things about sex, having sex out of marriage, but the thing is, and I've talked to people that I've worked with outside of YouTube about this, like in my workshops that I provide. It's that marriage is a primarily spiritual ordeal, and I'm not going to choose that route right now, because I know that marriage in modern day times is a tyranny for the relationship itself. The government has complete control over you at this point. And I think it's so weird how there's these almost incentives to get married. It's like, well, why are these tax incentives to get married? Well, it's because you may get tax reductions, and you may get certain benefits if you have children, right? But at the same time, if things go AWOL in the relationship, the society, not only the society, but the judicial system completely favors the females in divorces. And not only that, but the biggest indicator of a relationship, specifically a marriage, failing is when the woman is out earning the man. Now that's very interesting, right? Because if we have all of these strong, independent women out there, then that's going to make it harder for people to find relationships when they're making more money. And I'm not saying women shouldn't be doing what they want to do. If you want to go do what you want to do it. However, it's not going to be. I'm not incumbent to provide something for you in that case. And this is also something I've mentioned in my workshops. It's like, if you want to be a single independent woman who gets that money, die alone. Go do it. I know that I can live the rest of my life alone without attention, without validation. I'm not so sure that women can. I have not seen evidence of that because everywhere I look in the systems that we have in place, even though people that may not agree with my views talk about the patriarchy, it's like everywhere you look, you see people and society favoring women now. It's just completely ridiculous. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that this is the way it looks to me. Which is one of the reasons why I'm going to keep my stuff. I'm going to keep what I have. I'm going to learn from the mistakes and the experiences of not just myself, but with others as well. Because what happened in my friend's divorce? What really happened? I don't think anybody in that family really knows. I think there were so many things that happened that it's like so many small things start to add up into this big snowball effect, right? And so the bigger the snowball gets, it's just suddenly the bomb drops on the relationship and it just goes kapoof and there's nothing really you can do about it. And I think really what happened was that the guy, the father in this situation, was overly giving, and though he was a very strong man, like he is a strong man physically, I think emotionally there was a lot more that he had to deal with and a lot of trauma there. And for the woman, I think the mother was just too masculine. I know I was someone that tried to find the peace in the relationship, and I did have a good time with them. However, sometimes you can just see the writing on the wall in those kinds of relationships. And another thing that I learned is that choosing the wrong woman will absolutely destroy your life as a man. And the women that say, well, I was in a vulnerable place, or I just wasn't thinking at the time, or like I literally heard a conversation yesterday at the gym with this girl. She was talking about her date on Valentine's Day. And they went back to her place with her friends and they hung out, and afterward he ended up like asking her like what she was looking for long term, and she said that she wants to have a family, of course, but way down the line. Like, I'm not even caring about that stuff now. Like, I'm just going to keep having sex with whoever. Like, and when I heard that, I cringed and I thought to myself, like, this is what we have to choose from. This is the women that we have to choose from. Men, it's just up to us to be better. And I think it's really men's fault to some degree, generally speaking, that women are behaving like this now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm sure the guy got divorced. Like, this mother and father got divorced. And it was the guy that actually initiated it, as far as I'm aware, in the situation and the story that I just told. Basically, that the mother got served, right? Like, there was just a note that happened to come on the doorstep, and they never really talked to each other again, which some people thought, I know people in that community thought that it was kind of just kind of an asshole move and just a cowardly move. But at the same time, like, if things were really that bad, like, would you want to see them again? I don't know. So I'm not saying that he was in the right, but I'm not saying that he was in the wrong either in how he went about it. Because the end result was she still got everything. Like, she still got everything that he built. Like, it's just ridiculous. Now, like, there was child support. There, like I said, the house, the pets, the land, the oh, I forgot. Yeah, even the cars. Like, it was just, yeah, they got everything. So this is also just a testament. Like, there's a quote that says, "Men build and women move in," and I think that's true. And I think it's a good quote because, and I'm not saying this is wrong. Like, I think it's just true that men are fairly more creative when it comes to building things. And I'm not saying women are not creative or not intuitive, because that's not what I'm saying, but it's just a testament to how we have different goals in life. And so this experience and this story really revealed to me why I don't want to get married. And it's kind of the same thing within my own family units, right? Like, seeing how these families are just like tolerating each other. And it's like, why on earth would you want to spend your life tolerating somebody if you could be in a thriving, fulfilling, communicative, supportive, creative relationship that people were committed to? And this is another thing that I've been revealed to in my prayers on this topic of marriage. It's like, what is the point of a marriage nowadays? As far as the risk and reward, for men, there's a low reward and high risk. And for women, there's a high reward, low risk. Because if 2 years, like, and there's certain, like if you have to pay alimony, right? Like in California, after 10 years or something, there's alimony charges. I think it's California that does the alimony, right? Alimony. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you have to pay a certain amount, which is their standard of living. Like, even Kim Kardashian and Kanye West now. Kanye West has to pay $200,000 a month just for Kim Kardashian to live because they got divorced. That's insane to me. That's insane. Like, Kim Kardashian's already freaking rich. Like, it's just another testament to where we're really at in the modern world of marriage. I don't think Western society takes marriage seriously, and I think that they should. I think we should. I would hope so for the future of mankind. But when I hear stories like this at the gym, it's like, that girl, when she gets a little bit older, she's probably like 23, 24, maybe a little younger, maybe 21. But when she gets older, she's going to think to herself, like, why or where are all of the guys that she once was able to seduce? Because I've had, this is another weird thing that's been happening at the gym. I've had like women older than me trying to, like, they're maybe like 35, 40, you know, and maybe like there was probably one that was like 45 or so, but you know, they're in fairly good shape. They look healthy, but it's like I'm not the kind of guy that would just try to get something. Like I have stuff to give. I don't I don't need to take anything. Like I have enough. I have enough for me. And that's part of sexual discipline as well, and semen retention for men. Having that kind of discipline allows you to branch out and branch off in many other aspects of your life to find a more fulfilling life. And that's a beautiful thing. It's when people like how do I say this? It's like me telling you no, like a soft next is really what it's called in the dating world, right? A soft next is actually an act of respect, because even though it may seem like those kind of boundaries are personal attacks, it's not a personal attack. It's just me saying, look, this is just what we're just not compatible in what I'm actually looking for. This is what I would like, and I don't think that we're gonna fit this way. You know, I don't wish you ill. I I just would like to move on with my stuff, not taken away unnecessarily and unfairly and unrighteously. Because that's really what I saw that happen to this guy, like, in this story. It was just crazy to me how everybody seemed to turn on him. And, you know, like, of course, that they had their religious beliefs, right? Like, they were Catholic, and it is what it is. It just, there were kind of expectations, and divorce is obviously not a good look in a Catholic home. So, but my thing is like, don't, this is another thing I learned from the story, I suppose, is that you have to learn how to build yourself up before you invite someone in, especially as a man. Because if men build and women move in, then you have to know what it's like to build on your own as a man in order for you to provide fruit to the women in your life. So, yeah, not going to get married. I don't plan to. And I'm not going to fornicate. But, I mean, obviously, there's going to be other avenues that I'm going to have to pursue and that I've accepted as part of this new transition. And I'm not encouraging anybody to follow my footsteps exactly either in this decision. If you want to get married, go get married. Like, I think that's great. It's just not for me, because I can see, based off of my experiences, that it's not very useful for men right now, and there's not a lot of utility at all. So, with that being said, I hope this message was useful in some way and kind of gives you some perspectives of how to be sexually disciplined and the benefits of sexual discipline. And Peace be with you. Till next time.